Hello everyone, it's the anime here, and today we're going to be talking and reviewing the first chapter of Choujin X by the author of Tokyo Ghoul. So yeah, with that, hit that shit. Okay, before we begin with the reviewing of the chapter, I'm just going to get a quick synopsis of what the series is basically about. And the fastest and quickest way I can describe it is probably a Tokyo Ghoul My Academia, both only villains. Okay, so let me explain. Basically, in this world, random superhuman beings appeared that have these special abilities. Now, they cause chaos because they only want to do bad things, it seems. Or maybe it's nature, maybe it's nurture, who knows, maybe it's just power corrupts them. Okay. And basically, these two teenage kids, they get a hold of this serum, and that could turn them into these things, and the things are called Choujins. And basically, they're going to use it to fight bad Choujins, which really does seem like a close plot to Tokyo Ghoul, but honestly, who knows? So yeah, the very first chapter, starts off in a plane with a little girl and a granny, and basically they discuss farming things and like a festival and what they want to do. But this is all a facade, you see. These people aren't relevant to the story. We just need to see the Trojan first off. So then a businessman, or it seems like a businessman, comes up to him and is like, "Hey, can you move? I need to use the restroom because I think he's in the way." And then suddenly he kind of starts tripping out, and then he seems to have some type of flame power or something that comes out of his fingers, so he literally flames up a whole passage of the plane, killing all the passengers in that part of the plane, while also killing the granny and seemingly the girl. And then we get a cut to the main character of the story, or at least the first main character of the story, and he looking outside the school class window, because he gets a window seat because he's the main character. Low trope there, low trope. And he sees a plane, crashing, and that's the plane that was overhead of him. And basically, he gets scolded by his teacher, and then, the teacher goes over, some type of weird mathematical plane thing on how planes move or some shit. So, yeah, and then the main character, his name is Tokyo. Tokyo? I'm gonna say Tokyo. Tokyo. Basically goes up to the roof of the school, seemingly after the class, and talks to the pigeons. And then he's kind of like, who likes studying anyways, because, it's just, he seems to be a chill back, laid back guy that doesn't really like school that much. That seems to be his character, and that seems what the author is going for here. So, yeah. And then we see basically Tokyo roaming down the streets, after school, seemingly. And we see that he sees that there's these people sexually harassing or assaulting this girl, seemingly, trying to get in the pants, And then Tokyo's just like, I need to do something, and yells at him like, hey, stop, or something. And then then he's like, oh, wait, no, I can't actually do that. And then he calls someone on his phone, which related to see is seemingly his friend, and he has a bowl cut or a mushroom cut. But hey, don't mess with the mushroom cuts in manga or anime. This guy got some moves, Rock Lee style moves, my G. Look at it. Okay, so basically he breaks both of the guy's arms that was sexually harassing her, and yeah, you can literally see the bones popping out of him, the bones, which is just kind of gruesome. And that was just with one kick. Imagine what he could do if he was actually trying. Oh god. Yeah, but that seemingly is one of his friends, Tokyo's friends, or his only friend maybe, and basically the girl thanks him, and that's that. And then we have a little thing where they kind of discuss the plane that fell. So yeah, they discuss the plane that fell, and then they talk a little bit about how they suspect it was a Choujin, and then they use a roly-poly analogy of how the roly-poly likes damp places or something like that. So maybe it's kind of confusing. I'm not gonna lie, like so far it's kind of confusing, but yeah. So they kind of have a roly-poly analogy and how like roly-poly may like damp places or maybe it doesn't like damp places because whenever it's dry, they say that it goes under a damp rock. So yeah, it's a little weird there how they're comparing a Trojan to a roly-poly, like maybe stay in a certain place, but I didn't really get it. Maybe something flew over my head, partially, who knows. So yeah, then they say they're gonna go home, and then this is where we cut to a scene with basically the guy that got his hands broken and he's in a cast. And then basically he's mad that like I can't online shop with these casts on, and then he gets really mad and he cries and shit. And then this weird like fat dude, we don't really get I'm sorry for saying fat, but fat dude, chubby dude, whatever. Kind of pulls out a syringe. It seems. Kind of looks like the Titan syringe. Oh shit! I'm just kidding. Anyhow, but it is basically this serum that could turn you into a Trojan. So basically, he's like, "Here, take this, and you can get revenge on these damn kids." And also, just another thing, the guy's name that's Tokyo's friend, his name is Azuma, and he's actually pretty popular because he's like good at sports, good, has good grades, top of his class, all that, and that actually does like really well for popularity in Japan because in Japan they strive for perfection. So yeah. So then Azuma is kind of like, whoa, like his parents. I mean, Tokyo's parents are kind of just like comparing him to him. It seems. And then without knowing that Tokyo's there, when Azuma's popular, it makes me feel very popular too, because Tokyo sticks around with Azuma, then seemingly gets yelled at by his sister, and is like, unlike you, I have amazing potential, huh? Remind me who's paying your tuition again, which basically seems like his sister is paying Tokyo's tuition or whatever. So yeah, just something to note. Just some like characters or whatever, and then we get this thing about how they're discussing like what animals they are, like in class, like Tokyo and Azuma. And Azuma, all his classmates are comparing him to a lion, like because he's so strong, he's so brave, he's so intelligent, all that. And then Tokyo gets compared to a vulture because he's always sticking around near Azuma, the lion, for his prey or whatever, to get the glory. And then Azuma's like, well, that's nothing really bad about that. Vultures can actually like fly the highest of any bird, trying to blind his mood. And then we get to another scene of when they're little, okay? And basically, they kind of may form a pact here. Or, no, actually, it's not here, sorry. Yeah, so this is just actually thoughts going back, sorry. That's later on that we get the flashback for that. So basically, we see that, and then it kind of says, like, my sister so can be more like you. So basically, Tokyo's like, I want to be more like my sister. I want to be successful like my sister, all of that. So then we cut to seemingly the later that day or the next day, they are helping, like, clean up the plane crash. And 200 people did survive this plane crash, so it was a complete devastation. Only actually one cart of people, which was the cart of people that had the Choujin in it, basically died. Like, all of them died in there, but besides that, everyone else survived. No one else was injured, which is weird, but hey, it just proves more that it was a Choujin, not some freak accident. So yeah, they're talking about that, and then they're like, why can't Choujin just be better or whatever, and they're talking about how weird it is. And then they say, let's go grab a drink and head home. And then this is where we get the big scene where basically while they're heading home, this guy, with these casts on, basically smack what's his name, Azuma, in the head, not knocking him out but knocking him far away. And then we get the realization that this is the guy that was harassing the girls, and the same with his sidekicks. And then his arms healed and everything, so this is where we assume, like, oh shit, he took the needle and he actually became Choujin. And basically he seems to have this like power to like stretch in a way. So like stretch his limbs, like his neck, his arms, his legs, all that in a way that's just unhuman-like and very kind of weird, but seems to be giving him strength. Think of Luffy's Delta Fruit. Yeah, there you go. That's a good thing to think of. Kind of looks like that. So yeah, and then this guy's just beating up on Azuma, and then Azuma seemingly fights back for a second, and then gets like clashbacks and just gets knocked out away, and gets slammed to the floor, which shows his like main power, which is stretchiness, and he just slams his head into this guy's like his stretchy neck, and then he slams it into his head with his into his stomach, which seemingly probably knocked the air out of him. And then basically this guy's like, ha 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 ha, it worked, like the needle that the guy took worked. So then they're like, it's true that stuff can turn you into a Choujin. And then Tokyo's like, what, a Choujin? And then the boss's sidekick is like, hey boss, your neck, it's fine, this is how it's supposed to work. And then they're kind of freaking out like a sidekicks. And then basically the Choujin that they're fighting right now just starts beating him up on him and kind of making Tokyo scared. And then we have this really gruesome scene. I'm not gonna lie, very gruesome. Basically, the boss wrapping around his two like goons' necks and basically chopping the head off. And then this is where we get the simulation. The thing where it's like, there's no going back, do or nothing. So basically this is the boss saying like, I'm gonna kill these kids, there's no going back, I'm a Choujin now. And he killed his two sidekicks, and there's just a lot of blood spatter and all that. And basically with this, Tokyo grabs Azuma and begins to run. He runs into a lake and then has him swim away, because it seems that Azuma can still swim good enough. And then Azuma's like, Tokyo, you're not saying you want to use that thing. And basically, it seems like Tokyo stole or was able to get a hand of the two needles that the the boss was holding, that became a Choujin, possibly trying to inject his sidekicks with them, but failing and killing them, maybe. But we'll see. And basically, there's exactly two needles there, and then, Zuma's like, hey, what are you doing? You want to take those things? And then basically, Tokyo's like, we're gonna eat it because that guy's not Choujin, he's a monster. Zuma, let's just make a break for it. And then, yeah, so basically, Zuma's like, hey, we could just make a break for it, right? And then Zuma's like, he'll kill us. I can tell that it's different from the time he's indiscriminate. A Trojan or Pokemon, which is a weird translation. Why would they use Pokemon? I can only assume Pocket Monster because that's what it means. Whatever he is, I can't win that way I am right now. That's why. And then Azuma basically grabs the needle and then says, I'm going to use this. And then, so basically Azuma is saying he's going to inject himself with the Trojan serum. And then Tokyo's like, and then grabs the other needle, and then we get a flashback to basically Tokyo getting bullied, getting beat up, and said, why just do that? And then we have a little Azuma here saying, I said stop it, and then beating up his bullies. And then it kind of gets explained that Tokyo is a loner that only lives, with his sister because his parents left him or whatever, and that they're not really wealthy financially, they're not really good financially, that his sister tells him that he has to pay back Azuma for like his kindness. And basically the way that Azuma says this is like, okay, then you can help me fight bad guys from now on. And that was like the deal, that was the way that he's repaying him for his kindness. And then Tokyo's like, I don't know if I can do that, but I'll try. And then Azuma's like, that works for me, and they have a little fist bump. And then basically we see Tokyo grabbing the other syringe and says, Tokyo, you can't use that. And then basically Tokyo's like, won't be able to stay friends with you if I don't do it too. And then we get this really badass scene with basically Tokyo and Azuma holding like their each other's needles up to the other's neck and getting ready to eject themselves, and then they like, no regrets, okay, and then Tokyo's like, okay, you got it, and then they inject themselves with it. And then the boss guy comes in, but then just absolutely gets obliterated with a single punch. And then that's when we get revealed of seemingly, I believe it's Tokyo's like power, which is Beastal Choujin. So what I assume this is gonna be is like he can like use animal body parts and stuff like that to like his advantage. So I'm assuming like that's what he's gonna be able to do, because he seems to have like a roach's claws and stuff like that. So yeah, honestly, it's gonna be very interesting, and that would be the last page. Honestly, this story has potential like any other story. The only thing that I feel like it's not gonna mess up is because it is created by the author Tokyo Ghoul, and he's a very renowned author. Now, obviously, it could mess up, like we saw, like with Kishimoto, uh, his series that he tried to do, I forgot what it's called. Like that got canceled because it didn't sell as well. But honestly, this has way more hype around it. This was on like it just has way more hype around it. I feel like this could actually be very successful because it's backed by a well-known author and it has so much hype around it. Overall, though, I'd have to give this chapter like 7 out of 10 because it was kind of confusing, but at the same time, it's kind of good. It had these epic moments in it, so yeah, it was honestly pretty good. And yeah, with that, the anime signing. Oh wait, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, or not, you have free will. And yeah, with that, the anime signing off.